There we go.
Welcome, everybody, to the College of Complexes. My name is Tim. I will be your presenter tonight, and the topic is going to be the ups and downs of artificial intelligence, otherwise known as the Janus face of AI. What can it do, and what can it be used to start with? The first part of the presentation is the College of Complexes consists of the following format. First, we're going to have a brief announcements period. Then we're going to get into the meat of the speech, where I'll speak up to maybe about an hour or so. Then we're going to have questions and answers. I probably won't take that full hour up with my prepared remarks, so we'll probably have an extended Q&A session on topics that might be relevant. After that, we'll then get into our infamous rebuttal period. At the end of our rebuttal period, I'll say the last word. We generally have to be out of here by 7:45 because the restaurant closes at 8 o'clock. Again, there is a $3 tuition. We'll be collecting a little later on. It's just part of the help defray the costs of the college. Cover the speaker's meal and whatever other expenses we may defray. All right, with that, we're going to get started into the announcements part of it. And if you could, okay, I'm going to have to go to the share screen entrance now. I'll show you how to do that.
All right, I'll begin. You guys can catch up here. Welcome to meeting number 3,807 of that College of Complexes, the playground for people to think. Now, we maintain several email groups. There's information on the main page. Otherwise, contact me. We maintain an internal list, and I'll see that your address get added on it. Not much traffic, 1 or 2 messages per week. Now, although I am not a capitalist, I will give an advertisement for our upcoming programs. Next week.
God damn it.
Oh, next week.
Trying to get the share screen button. We may not have it here for some stupid reason.
Well, I can just say it.
Well, we'll have it up in a minute because we're going to need that.
Okay. But anyhow, next week, one of my favorite speakers, although they're all very good speakers at the college, but our own Jonathan Martin. And this is one he's going to discuss the movie Salt of the Earth. Now, there are links at the website and in our page of list of links that you can watch this movie for free online. So that at the event, we're not going to be showing the movie then, but we're going to be discussing it because we simply don't have time to show a movie and have a discussion. Anyhow, March 8th, it's a good movie. So considered the most dangerous movie ever made. March 15th, we're going to have Reverend George from the Pentagon Temple, who's going to have a mother movement for world peace. Accomplished speaker, March 15th. March 22nd, we've got 3 speakers lined up already. We're going to have an open microphone. Should be plenty to discuss with the new administration and their antics. Anyhow, we have 3 keynote speakers to get things going. On March the 29th, Eric Mao, we saw not long ago, we'll be talking about wealth. I presume the distribution of wealth around the world, its acquisition and so forth. All about wealth, of which I have very little. On April the 5th, Bill Biaggi, the Illinois Single Payer Association, will give us an update on health care, or socialized medicine, as I call it. Anyhow, it should be a relevant topic for everyone. On the 12th, we begin our series of special Earth Day speakers. And we're going to be hosting a young man in charge. He's the field office of the Illinois Environment Council. It's a council of about 100 eco groups, very influential. They put out a legislative guide and a city guide on voting for green initiatives. So that's April the 12th. On the 19th, yours truly, Charles Paydock. I have a multiple choice quiz that I will be giving. I also give you the answers and discuss them momentarily, briefly, to determine if you have a green view of politics. Are you a greenie? Are you a friend of the earth? Or are you a friend of the polluters? This quiz is very simple and will assess where you are on eco issues. That leaves April 26th is open. I'm hunting around right now for an eco speaker, but if everybody else comes along, that's fine. There are 5 dates in May. We're also looking for a May Day speaker. So if anybody on some issues of working class issues or so forth. Anyhow, that's it. Mr. Chair, take it away. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Well, as far as introductions are concerned, my name is Tim Bolger. I'm going to be speaking tonight at the College of Complexes on artificial intelligence. I'm going to get my thing off here so you guys can see me. And you do notice I have the requisite College of Complexes shirt on, so that you don't know who I am. And of course, I'm ready now with the infamous power. Maybe it's iced tea, but it's also coffee at the same time because it's got the caffeine involved. Okay, many of you are kind of wondering what this whole thing with AI does. You know, and we stand at a pivotal moment in human history, a moment defined by the rapid enhancements of artificial intelligence. Today, we're going to embark on an exploration of this transformative technology, a force that promises to reshape our world in ways that are only beginning to understand. Our focus will be on the duality of AI, its capacity to both unleash creativity and guard against manipulation. We will delve into the profound possibilities and the potential pitfalls that are before us, seeking to eliminate the path towards a future where AI serves humanity's best interests. In short, gentlemen, we're seeing another revolution in technology on our hands. We're seeing the development of a probably technology that, again, is going to be world transforming. We've already been through this for many of us of an earlier age, particularly me. Could still remember the days when I was working on a TRS-80 back in 1978. And then, of course, in the early 90s, when the internet first came out, everything was hyped up like crazy. Oh, this thing's going to revolutionize the world. Oh, this thing's going to be the big greatest thing since sliced bread. Well, in a lot of ways it is, because I couldn't imagine today having a life where you didn't have a broadband internet connection at home, where you could get instant access to your videos. I mean, none of this was conceivable back in in the 90s when all this came out. But through the advancement of technology, I'm sure all of us know what it's like to go on YouTube, to find almost anything you want, to get into your little rat holes of conspiracy theories, to finding out the truth of the matter. And the funny thing is that we now have, used to be we would get our news sources from ABC, NBC, or CBS, and now we can get it from almost anywhere. You know, a lot of times now, you've seen the good and the bad and the ugly. The good that came out of the internet was now we're connecting everybody together. The bad is now the bad actors have a lot more tools to do their thing. But in a sense, has it been a good revolution? Yes, it has, because it's also allowed us to take things. Well, the thing is to imagine a world where algorithms compose symphonies that stir the soul, where machines paint masterpieces that rival the greatest human artists. Now shift your perspective. What if the news you consume, the videos you watch, are meticulously fabricated, designed to manipulate your beliefs and erode your trust in reality. This isn't a dystopian fantasy. It is rapidly unfolding. It is a rapidly unfolding reality of AI. We're facing questions that challenge our fundamental understanding of truth. Authentically, and the very nature of human experience. Now, how, in this age of AI, are we going to discern the real from what is fabricated? And again, I think we're going to find that out real quick, because right now, most everybody can know what truth from fiction is. You know, we can see these videos on YouTube, and know what the perspective is. Are you still gonna go to sourced areas? Are you still gonna have places that are fact checked? Are you still gonna have things that go in? Right now, we're facing a president who doesn't seem to face reality, but wants to impose his own agenda on the American people, and through the advance of executive orders tends to be screwing things up like crazy. And yet at the same time, we're starting to see the propaganda come through, the things that go like crazy with stuff like this, and a lot of other type of things that could not be good. The thing is that my name again is Tim Bolger, and for many years I've been deeply immersed in the world of artificial intelligence. And what I mean by that is, as a hobbyist, I have found it to be very beneficial in a lot of ways, like in composing the speech tonight, like in running, in making sure, and just having a hobby of videography and a little bit of amateurish movie making. But again, I've had the privilege of watching AI's evolution from the nascent concept to a powerful force shaping our lives. I firsthand see the awe-inspiring potential of this technology to solve complex problems and unlock new frontiers of creativity. But I've also observed the growing shadows of its potential misuse, the ethical dilemmas that demand our attention. My goal today is not to instill fear, but to foster a critical and informed view of AI. What we must engage in open and honest dialogue to ensure that this technology is developed and deployed responsibly for the benefit of all. We could, and again, I think we've already seen a lot of the answers to this just with the development of the internet. Today you got all the social media like Facebook and Twitter, and now called X, and a lot of the world's using it. And then you also have, it's a lot easier to fact check stories and source material, and you can also still get a lot of good informed news stories should you choose to look at the right kinds of news sites. My preference happens to be National Public Radio. A lot of times the New York Times, MSNBC is another one. The BBC is another good one. And then, of course, at the same time, you can also have instant access to the world's propaganda. You know darn well that when you go on the Iranian news channel, you're going to get the views. You want to let them in? You're going to get the Iranian news channel on. At the other part, you're going to also see something else. And what's going to happen? Let's face it, guys. It's all been a boon. It's been a real boom, but it's also been a real potential for misuse. We see the identity theft. We see online fraud. But again, I think that's with any technology that comes in, human beings are going to use it for good or ill. If you go back to the print newspaper, particularly around between the 1700s and the 1890s, they were all highly partisan. They were all high, it cost a lot of money to print, but they were all done with a certain point of view from various sources. And a lot of people would read 2 or 3 of them a day. And at the same time, it got to be such an influence that you'd have 2 or maybe even 3 editions after a while. But again, most of these, after a while, what we finally learned was that objective journalism, after the affair of like the Maine in 1893, when it was a highly partisan thing going into Cuba with the sinking of the Maine, and some of the false claims that the Hearst empire made, there was a tradition then of getting the story right. And with the development of radio and television, you know, you saw the potential to become a mass world. But at the same time, we had journalism and the ways of doing it more standardized. You know, the telegraph helped us out with getting the world's news to us. The phone and the fax machine and the various other technologies that allowed the early and late 20th century really helped us get what was going on around the world. We're not going to have another Walter Cronkite again, but we will have some very good commentators online. For example, you know, many of you are looking at this, at what Donald Trump's doing around the country. I prefer a source on YouTube called the Midas Touch Network. I know they're very anti-Trump, but I think they've been good on it. The point of the matter is our exploration today will unload these distinct segments. First, we'll delve into the remarkable capacity of AI to amplify human creativity across domains, from art to music to writing and design. I'll get into that after we do the speech a little longer. We'll then confront the darker side of AI and its potential weaponization for propaganda and manipulation, examining the challenges it poses to our democracy and our sense of reality. Finally, we'll draw parallels that will pass technological connections, seeking to glean insights from history as we navigate the ethical components of AI. We will discuss the immense possibilities, the very real dangers, and the ethical considerations that must guide our journey. And again, I think we've been through a lot of this before, just with the development of the internet. I mean, many of you can remember when it first came out. We were all excited to get online, and we were just looking at web pages. Now we can look at video and streaming and all kinds of various other technologies, and we can see the good and bad. You know, we can get online and find out the latest about the COVID vaccines. We can get online and find out about the latest myths of 9/11. We can go down a conspiracy rabbit hole of QAnon, but we can also get the facts of a story by going to credible sources like the BBC or NPR or even ABC, NBC, and CBS. And if you like your conservative viewpoint, you can also look at what I consider another propaganda channel, the Fox News. But at the heart of our discussion lies the fundamental truth. AI is a double-edged sword, a technology with the power to unlock unprecedented creative potential, and also conveying the risk of destabilization of the very foundations of our society. It is imperative that we adopt a proactive, ethical approach to its development and deployment, ensuring that its benefits are widely shared and the risks are diligently mitigated. Only through careful consideration and responsible action can we harness the transformative power of AI to the betterment of humanity. And the thing is, before we delve a little deeper, let's establish clear understanding about what AI actually is, its essence. It's about creating systems that can mimic human cognitive functions, enabling these machines to learn, reason, and solve problems. Generative AI takes this a step further, empowering machines to create new content from text and images to music to code. This is achieved by training large models on massive data sets, allowing them to identify patterns and generate novel outputs. Think of it as a teaching machine to learn the rules of creativity and then letting it explore the possibilities. The point of the matter is, AI can maybe take those older patterns, perhaps establish new ones, but you're never going to get rid of the human being to create new content, to create a new story, to take an old story and talk about human nature. You're never going to replace the human brain. What I consider AI to do is just an enhancement of it, for good or for ill. You know, I can make a relatively decent 8-minute movie using AI, for example. I'll show that a little later on. But the point of the matter is, you know, human creativity goes quite a ways through. I mean, you know, we have our artists, we have Shakespeare, we have Isaac Asimov, we have, well, a wealth of other people who literally changed the world. But you wouldn't have them without the development of the printing press, would have a lot of it without the development of movies and movie projectors. For example, when movies first started coming out in the 1910s, there was a gentleman by the name of D.W. Griffith, who was one of the most movie makers of all time. And what he did was he was the first one to use things like the close-up, like the editing of scenes, like a lot of the other techniques we take for granted today. And in the 20s, they further instilled the possibilities. But the thing was still a visual medium. It wasn't until the 1930s that we were able to integrate sound into film. And that's when the creativity took off. But it was still very expensive. At movie studios, you had many other people coming in to use it. And again, movies were the place to go. And then, of course, the development of television, especially like the VCR and other technologies, it came into its own, you know, in the early 80s and 90s. And again, you know, we still wanted to get entertained. But still, you know, it also started new industries like the movie studios. It also started new industries like, you know, radio broadcasting stations. And now today, you know, people can podcast and do all kinds of stuff on it. And there's a lot of different ways that things can happen. The other thing I want to tell you about is that, you know, imagine, you know, it's a narrative. It's AI basically does two things. It can create pictures, produce short videos, and do narrative generation. If you can say, imagine having a tireless contributor and they're capable of generating endless story ideas, creating compelling scripts, and even writing entire novels. And it's getting close. AI is revolutionizing the art of storytelling, offering writers new tools to overcome creative blocks and explore uncharted creative territories. These tools can analyze and understand the nuances of language, allowing them to generate text that is not only coherent, but also emotionally resonant. They can help writers craft characters, develop priorities, and even generate dialogue that they feel that can be authentic and engaging. But again, the human being creates it. And the human being ultimately has responsibility for controlling that dialogue. And in visual arts and designs, the main visual arts is experiencing a similar transformation. AI algorithms can now produce stunning images, intricate designs, and even immersive visual environments. Artists are using these tools to push the boundaries of their creativity, exploring new styles and techniques that were previously unimaginable. This technology demonstrates and empowering individuals who may lack artistic skills to express themselves creatively. AI can also help artists generate variations of their work, explore new color palettes, and even create entirely new visual concepts. The point of the matter is this is a really powerful technology. The advantages of AI generated creativity are numerous and far-reaching. Efficiency is a key benefit, allowing creators to produce more content in less time. Innovation is another, as AI can generate novel new ideas and approaches that would be difficult for humans to conceive. And perhaps more importantly, accessibility is enhanced, empowering individuals who may lack traditional artistic skills to express themselves creatively. These tools can serve as powerful collaborators. Enhancing and amplifying human creativity in an unprecedented task. Okay, just to show how far AI can go, Mike, can you do the share screen there? I'll let you put it up real quick.
Yeah.
I'm showing you here.
Yeah, I just want to know where it's at. It's normally a button
It's,
on the
no,
bottom.
it's right here. Share screen.
Okay.
Go to YouTube here. Share it. And we're going to go here to YouTube. Log in. We're just getting a little short 8-minute movie up right now that we're going to play real quick. And the movie is basically set in 1880s Nevada at a train station. And it's going to be a short movie about two women who confront their rivals at the train station. It's a short film. It's AI can do.
And again, I just got a slow connection here that that does it. So we're just going to take a minute or two to pull it up. I'm just trying to get the to my YouTube account here real quick. Studio. We're coming with it soon, so we'll be able to play it in a minute. Everybody can see the screen up there, and okay, when it goes to while we're waiting for the screen to go up, I'm going to ask. Okay, there we go. It's going to come up here real quick, and it's going to play in a minute. This is why I had to go somewhat not highly on this stuff. We're waiting for the channel dashboard to come up now, and we're waiting for the.
Right now we're waiting for the things. Now go to right here to content. Once you did it there. Okay, and then just click on content. Okay. Just click on content, Mike.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's coming up. It's like I said, when you have a slow connection like this, sometimes even the technology can somewhat be a little bit on the crazy side. So, you know, we're going to do it. All right. I want you to click this one and play it. Again, this was set in the 1890s. You're going to want to go, yeah, just click right there. And again, hopefully it'll play. But it's a movie that I made entirely with AI. And I think you guys will get the idea here real quick of what's going to happen with it. And this is going to be a lot of our presentation, but it's going to show you a little bit about what the generative capabilities are and what can happen as soon as it
It's taking a while.
you know, it's just going to take a little while. But while I'm talking about this stuff, and once you see it, you're going to find out real quick what can do. All right, now just let it, it'll play itself. Don't go to full screen on it because it'll probably, you can probably see it. All right, now go ahead. Now go to full screen now.
Full screen.
Yeah. There should be a mute. Isn't it playing? Yeah, we got it. Okay, guys. I'll just watch.
And so they appear, like crows drawn to the scraps of the grand feast. Margaret leads, of course, but Agnes, she's little more than a shadow, a woman with no identity beyond her mistress's reflection. A fitting image. Though I wonder, do crows know they're scavengers, or do they fancy themselves swans? Swans? Hardly. Margaret lacks even the grace of a pigeon, and Agnes, well,
It's about
she's
8
no
minutes
more than a
long.
moth, fluttering uselessly toward her own demise.
Charlie saw this already.
Beatrice. Edith, how quaint to find you skulking about the station. I'd have thought your kind preferred darker corners for their schemes. Margaret, how delightful to see you again. Though I must admit, your arrival feels like a stain on what was shaping up to be a rather pleasant morning.
Pleasant, Beatrice? Surely you mean tedious. After all, what life remains for a woman whose name is whispered only in scandal? Scandal? How quaint. I'd have thought you'd recognize true scandal, Agnes, considering your tragic attempts to stay relevant. Beatrice, your insults are as hollow as your reputation. You've built an empire of lies, but everyone knows it's crumbling. You're finished.
This does have a
Finished?
Clint Eastwood ending.
My dear Margaret, you've always mistaken your fantasies for reality. Tell me, does the illusion comfort you at night? The only illusion here is your belief that you're still untouchable. The world has moved on from you, Beatrice, and soon it will leave you behind entirely. How generous of you, Agnes, to believe the world even noticed you in the first place.
Enough. Your barbs are tiresome. We're here for a reason, Beatrice, to remind you that your days of lording over others are numbered.
Oh, Margaret, You've spent years in my shadow, and now you dare to threaten me? How bold, how foolish. Foolish would be underestimating me. You've made enemies, Beatrice, powerful ones, and they're tired of your games. Powerful enemies? How intriguing. And yet, here I stand, untouched. Perhaps your so-called allies are as weak as you are. You think you're invincible, but everyone falls eventually, even queens. Queens fall? And what of jesters, Agnes? You've been Margaret's fool for so long, I doubt you'd know how to stand on your own.
Laugh while you can, Edith, both of you. But the day is coming when someone will put an end to your tyranny.
Is that a promise, Margaret? Or just another empty threat?
Call it a warning, and unlike you, Beatrice, I don't bluff. A warning? How quaint. Allow me to respond in kind. I don't bluff, I just do. I really hope you understand me now. This ends here. Guns, this is madness. So you really think killing us is going to solve the problem? You will be convicted of murder.
You'll never get away with this. It's pure murder. You will never get away with this. Oh, Agnes, always so dramatic. Well, let's just hope you have a very dramatic death then.
Like I said, true Clint Eastwood style. So females going at it. Of course, I gotta talk about it afterwards. Well, like I said, it was 1880 train station.
Edith, do you feel it? That pulse of energy in your veins, like lightning coursing through you?
It's only got
Feel
about
it?
2 or 3 minutes left.
Beatrice, it's as though I've been reborn. The moment I pulled the trigger and saw Agnes fall, oh, it was as if the world had finally bent to my will. And Margaret, the great and indomitable Margaret, reduced to a heap of silks and shame. Did you hear her last breath, Edith? That little gasp, like she was choking on her own insignificance? I heard it, and I savored it. For years she strutted about, thinking she held the reins of power. But in the end, it wasn't her cunning or her connections that mattered. It was our resolve. Resolve? Yes. And the artistry of it all. Oh, Edith, wasn't it splendid? The way they tried to bargain with us, their voices trilling, their faces pale. Margaret's arrogance, Agnes's cowardice. It all unraveled so beautifully. And to think they believed themselves untouchable. Margaret always looked down on me, you know, as if I were some naive debutante. But who had the last word? Who ended the charade with a single pull of the trigger? We did, my dear. We proved, once and for all, that we're not to be trifled with. Let them whisper. Let them speculate. No one will dare challenge us now. Do you realize what we've done, Edith? We've not just rid ourselves of two insufferable rivals. We've sent a message, a declaration that we are unstoppable. And all I did was shoot them very dead. They thought they could dictate our fates, that we'd bow to their schemes. But we've rewritten the story. They're the footnotes now, forgotten, irrelevant, and very, very dead by our hands, of course. Do you know, Edith, I once imagined I'd feel some twinge of regret, some faint ache of remorse. But there's nothing. No sorrow, no guilt, only clarity. A cold state of clarity, to be honest. It was the blood that made everything clear. And I could not believe how easy it was. Just a simple pull of the trigger and our problems were solved. We simply murdered them. And without guilt, yes, we have taken care of our own destinies. There may also come a time when we have to do this sort of thing again. But, you know, we now have reputations in a gangster-like sort of way, and we will get our way. Sometimes murder does have its benefits, better and quieter. Their voices have been silenced, their schemes dismantled. And we just simply killed them dead with our guns. I did not imagine it would be this easy. Now everyone knows we are strong-willed women who get their way, and it is exhilarating. A toast to victory and to our newfound reputations as bad girls. But we will get what we want now. Again, here's to the bad girls.
I know, it's crazy, stupid. Yeah, I created that. What I did was I used a, if you wanna unshare the screen now, Mike, we'll go into it. I'll explain a little bit about how I created it.
I shared it.
Okay,
Yeah, you're
what
right.
happened is that I used a tool called Minimax, which is a Chinese video generation tool. You take an image, you tells you what you want to go into, and it'll generate like a 5-second video for you. And then there's also another tool. It was called, I believe, it was called Infinity AI. It lets you take an image, and it'll then put dialogue in that image, and it's got a certain number of preset voices you could use, but that also has content moderation, so you can't go too far off. Then, of course, you know, you string the scenes together using a standard video editing program, tweak it with some scenes from around the area. And yeah, I know, I've always thought of myself, okay, we take the standard Clint Eastwood Western type script, put the women in it, and you get something a little bit crazy. But anyway, that's what I'm simply trying to demonstrate was we're kind of at the cusp of what artificial intelligence can do. But just imagine, you know, in Dallas, there's another tool, but I'm not going to show it tonight because of the slow connection. It's will let you take a voice of, it'll let you clone a voice, say of Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, for example. And in Dallas, what I did was I didn't get her voice because I didn't have the time to do so, because it takes about 5 or 6 minutes to generate about 10 or 15 seconds of dialogue. But I had Kamala Harris saying the following: "Damn it, I should have hired Putin to complete the job." I wish I had the link to it tonight, but you know, you can do that type of stuff with AI. Now, Mike is back here, and I know you know how to share screen and go to there should be on a third tab there, an open Google account there on it. Just share the screen again in the bottom.
Yep.
And then open it up again. I'm gonna have to get out in front here while I'm seeing it. Okay. Just yeah, no, don't go. You want to get the tabs up. Just hit the tab button at the over here. Yeah, I'll get it. We got it. Okay. Right there where it says new tab. And what you want to do there is we're going to get up. Eventually, we're going to get a Google account in there. I just want you to type in at the top box Gemini, Gemini. Yeah, Gemini, and then it should come into it should go into my Gemini account for Google, and it'll take a little bit, but this will show you a little bit about how far this stuff has come. And I'm gonna kind of let Mike right there, Mike. Yeah, it should come up in a second here, okay? Hopefully soon enough. I mean, you might want to get, okay, I think we're getting it now. And it should be in my account in a minute or two here. There we go. Let's come on. Okay, Mike, I'm going to let you ask it a question, or who has a question that they want to ask AI that they always wanted to know about. Go ahead.
If I heard you correctly, you said days we can recognize fact and fiction. How do we know if that's really more confusing?
Well, I think what's going to have to happen is that's all going to be in education a little more often. Okay, why don't we type in the browser down there? How do we recognize fact from fiction with AI? Watch this. Now it's going to take a minute or two to go in, and we'll have our answer. It's going to tell you a little bit more about what goes on. As you can see, There's some limitations to it, and this is all done by the AI itself. Is that giving you a little bit of whatever?
Can't see it.
Okay, well, I'll read it then. Just go up to the top there, Mike. Okay, distinguishing fact from fiction and AI generated content is a critical skill in today's digital landscape. Here is a breakdown of key strategies. Number one, AI is a pattern recognizer. All models, especially the large language models, excel at recognizing and replacing patterns enough data. They don't inherently understand truth. This means they can generate plausible sounding but entirely fabricated information. Scroll up a little bit. Okay.
This way.
Lack of real world information. AI doesn't have real world experience or common sense the same way humans do. This can lead to outputs that are factually incorrect or logically inconsistent. Critical evaluation. Approach AI generated content with skepticism. Don't approach it at face value. Ask yourself, does this information seem reasonable? Is it consistent with what I already know? Go up a little more. Source verification. Don't rely solely on AI's output. Verify information by checking reputable sources, established news organizations, academic journals, government websites. Lateral meaning means to open a new browser tabs to check the credibility claims that AI is making. And then a little more. Look at inconsistencies. Pay attention to contradictory statements, unusual phrasing or grammatical errors, visual anomalies in images or videos. Even if the AI itself is just a tool, consider the source that is using the AI. Is that source generally trustworthy? And then they go up a little bit more for fact-checking tools. You can go to Snopes, factcheck.org, PolitiFact. And these are AI-assisted fact-checking tools that are being developed. Be aware of deepfakes. Deepfake technology can create highly realistic, manipulated videos and audio, and be especially cautious of visual and auditory content. Key takeaways: AI is a powerful tool, but it's not a reliable source of truth on its own. Human critical thinking and verification are essential, and the ability to discern fact from fiction in AI-generated content is a crucial skill in the information age. You see what I mean? That answered your question pretty thoroughly, didn't it?
No, I don't think it did. I think we need to put laws in place and let the audience realize that this is AI generated.
Yeah, and
There'll be a lot of confusion with this thing.
well, YouTube right now, in any video you put up, they have you fully disclaim it's AI generated. Other platforms do not.
Did you say it?
It sometimes it does, you know.
I know that's gonna be a big fooler.
I know that, but the thing is, you know, there's enough bad actors out there that they'll try to get around it. And you've got a right for skepticism on it. But like I said, you know, when you see a video where it says Donald Trump endorses Joe Biden, for example, you know, there was one out there. You know, that's a deep fake.
Yeah.
I'm putting a video of Biden and Trump. They're talking to each other. It looks so real.
Right.
I realized it was AI. It was all 4-letter words talking to each other.
Uh-huh.
You this and that and that. Oh, this is crazy, but it looks so real.
Right.
So real. If you look at Saturday Night Live, no, it was Thursday night, Jimmy Kimmel show.
Yeah.
They had a setup on there, Trump and all this, that satire, you know. So it had the AI generated, so real, you couldn't believe it. It's a great special put up. You get fooled so easy with this stuff.
Yes.
It's without political involvement. Really a lot of trickery here.
And the thing is, you know, it's getting better and better. Look,
Yeah.
I consider it kind of a crazy. We were had twice. Donald Trump came in a second time. Now, I don't know how many of you here are fans or not, but I consider it we were fooled once, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, no, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
You want to go for a third time.
Yeah, and it might just be that way, but this is exactly, there was a real good speech by Pritzker. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, just, well, just go ahead there and unshare the screen. Okay, there we go. Anyway, but you can see how it goes. All right. And you know, I hope I've addressed your question a little more better than it was. I'm gonna take a seat here if you don't mind. Can you put that camera down in front of me there, Mike? Just you got it. You don't need to share the screen.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, just tilt it down a little bit. Yeah, and then that way I can at least take some questions. I'm sorry, I'm a little tired tonight. Okay, Charlie, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, hold on a minute.
All right.
There we go. Number one, Tim, please, would you repeat the question? I didn't hear at all what that
Okay, I'll hand it.
somebody asked. If they're not gonna come up or don't have the microphone, please,
We got the microphone. I can hold them up and I can ask the questions and,
why don't they come up and ask it or something, you know?
yeah.
All
we
right,
can do
but
that.
it appears that you stated there that the computers can now learn. So, and you kind of answered this, but is it conceivable that I could teach my computer to believe that the moon is made of green cheese?
If you take the certain large language model and feed it the data that says the moon is made of green cheese,
Yeah.
your AI will take that as a thing. It's called a learning model, and they have now separate AI accounts that can, like, take, for example, in a corporation, HP will have its own set of AI contributed with its corporate values and its data set, and it'll be useful for their customer service people. So yes, you can conceivably make your local computer have a certain small set of AI facts on it and run it locally, and it could certainly made to be believed that the moon is made of green cheese. Garbage in, garbage out, like any program. But you can certainly do that. I don't know why you would want to, maybe unless you were given something like you fully believe that the moon landing was a hoax. But I think there's enough content out there. Okay.
Well, wait a minute. You could convince the public then that a competitor's product is dangerous.
Yeah, you could. But again, you could do that. And isn't that what Edison tried to do with alternating current against Tesla when he killed the elephant?
Yep.
I mean, that type of practice has been around for years. And surely many of you remember the AC versus DC wars with there was a big controversy.
That's an advertising campaign. That's a totally different thing that people are looking this up for valid information.
Mhm.
You could
Well,
start a rumor that somebody's product will have harmful effects if consumed. Is there any check on that?
You can do that now. I mean, you could literally make a video convincing the public and lie to them in public relations and other things. I mean, isn't that what the Trump administration's doing now in a lot of ways? I mean, seriously, it's not that hard to create what they call marketing materials, and it would be real easy to badger your competitor and convince them that something else. Thank God we got the Trade Commission and libel laws that will put a stop to things like that.
Yeah, the trade.
Yeah,
We had the Trade Commission.
well, we had the Federal Trade Commission. We still got libel laws. And the other thing of the matter is that, the public is not stupid. They might believe it for a little bit, but what'll happen was the public is not stupid,
Are
Charlie.
you kidding me?
Well, that's your opinion, not mine. The public is not stupid.
Who's
It might take
president of the United States?
About, like I said, 51% of us believed them, and the other parts were also buffaloed. I'm not saying it can't happen, but look at the after effects. They're now seeing what full Project 2025 does. You can fool some of the people some of the time, some of the people all of the time, but not all of the people all of the time. And it's been in use even under Hitler's propaganda machine. The 30s with under what's the guy's name from World War II? What?
Which one?
Goebbels, yeah,
Yeah.
Goebbels it was. Shows you what happens when I don't have Google. And Goebbels made his propaganda movies for the Nazi Empire. The whole nation went into it. And if you remember in Pritzker's speech, he said it was less than about a month and a few days.
Yeah, less than 2
that-
months.
What?
Less than 2 months.
Less than 2 months that the entire German Democratic Republic was nullified. And I'm afraid in a lot of cases that may be what's happening here in the US. But what we have now, thank God, is the internet and the free press. I mean, the thing is the content may be banned in the United States or something like that, but we're going to certainly see it from overseas sources. And there's still a lot of ways to get that content now. anything that can be blocked or firewalled can be unblocked and unfirewalled. Although it would take it to be a VPN. For example, in Russia right now, they have a lot of control over state media, even over the internet themselves. But all it takes is what they call a VPN, a virtual private network. You log in using something like the Onion browser, and boom, you can set your location to the United States and get all the content you want. And the government may know about it, but the thing is that you'll still be able to find out. What I'm saying is that, Charlie, the technology is around, and it's going to be a lot easier to make deepfake content. But at the same time, we're also going to learn how to detect it and how to use it, because most of us today can probably discern between falsehood and, and this is the fundamental dilemma. The whole thing about AI is that, it's another technological tool that's going to be used. It's going to revolutionize the world. It's going to make things easier to do things. It's going to make the world a much easier place. Like, for example, a lot of the content of my speech up top was done using AI. It saved me a lot of time, energy, effort, and research. But at the same time, I also tweaked it quite a bit to make sure that it was relevant, that it was short, that it worked well. Okay, who's got the next question? Let me get you on camera here.
Use the microphone. And I'll get you on camera.
The speaker is
Yeah, go ahead. Don't worry.
almost, I pulled that, yeah.
It's all right.
In that film that we just looked at, it was plainly obvious that those weren't real characters.
Right.
I mean, real people.
Right.
What's the significance of that? And is there a method that you can use to where those characters would look like real people?
As a matter of fact, yes. Here, okay. As a matter,
They already have that out.
they already have that out. I could have taken a picture of two ladies from anywhere on the internet and had them move and talk at the same time like that. All it would have taken would be take the real picture in Minimax and do it. I chose not to use any of the real people involved because I didn't want to have any problems with copyright or original content or any type of lawsuit type thing. In fact, this video isn't even public. I wouldn't want this released out to the general world. It's stupid, but it is a method of
Shows what you can do.
shows what you can do. I mean, but the point of the matter is, the reason I used those two was because they were completely generated by Gemini. I was able to upscale the close-up pictures of them. I did do some image modification, but yet at the same time, all the dialogue, all the walking of them going around, well, that was all generated by AI. Now, I did piece the scenes together using a video editing program, which today it's almost every student uses it. Now, I do know that when you have a movie, you have certain scenes, you have certain things going on, and I've done probably close to 10,000 hours of filming myself with a camcorder, and I've also done a little bit of editing for, my brother's wedding, for example, and some other stuff. And in my things with Toastmasters, I actually learned how news organizations edit their content. And as a matter of fact, I got training on it maybe about 12 years ago from a gentleman by the name of David Goddard, who was a retired WEEK news editor from Peoria, Illinois. And the reason I knew him was through my Toastmasters organization. I was just starting to film contests and conferences and other things. And he was able the first time to get me possibly 4 of us together, and he told us how to film. And he had me down to his house where we were editing the sessions up. And what he did there was he then showed me what he did on the news and how the older technology where they had to cut, copy, and paste the actual physical videotape with the electronic stuff. And boy, did I learn something. But I had to, the thing was, in order to really use this, I had to get skilled at it.
Well, that's regular video.
Yeah, that's regular video, but the thing
Tim,
is,
can
even
I
with,
say something about this? On
go
our
ahead,
free
Charlie.
links, on our free links page, there is a documentary on UFOs. It was completely generated by AI. The guy who narrates it is a regular looking human being, who is the narrator. And his dialogue was AI generated. It selected all the incidences, about 2 hours worth, to report on, and it also picked out all the illustrations of each event. In answer to that gentleman's question, Martin, yes, the narrator is just like you would think it was filmed in a studio.
Right, and the thing is, they call that avatars. And a lot of times when you get people on certain AI stuff, they want a good-looking woman. You can go to a site, get an avatar, and make them talk and speak like it. You want to see how this is done real quick? Okay, go up and open a browser. Again. Now go to Infinity AI.
New window?
No, just take one, just shut the others down.
Okay.
Because that way you won't get a lot of Infinity AI.
Like that?
Yeah, like that. And yeah, there you go. It's gonna come up in a minute here. Yeah. Okay. Now just go down and scroll down a little bit. I forgot to change his name. Go ahead, keep going a little bit more because we'll go into it. There is a way, because I have an account. I do have an account. Just go down to the bottom where it says Infinity AI, right there. And just click on it.
Yeah.
What's going to happen is now I'm going to the lemon slice dot lemon. Right, no, right there in the middle.
This one?
No. Just scroll up a little bit. No, scroll down. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, up.
Okay, this way, okay.
Visit our new address at lemon.slice.lemon, right there. Just click there. And it should allow me to open an account. It should allow me to get into my account. Okay, start creating now. Now, yeah, it should open up in a minute. Go ahead and click it again, Mike.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, and as you can see, they got the woman, the audio, and whatever. We should be able to pull up if you want to go to another tab and get a picture of a human being in there, we'll find something. Just find it.
Let's get Charlie.
All right, well, yeah, Charlie Paydock, okay.
Put that.
Just put Charlie Paydock in the thing and then do him in the search. PAI.
PAI, okay, it's got the I.
PAIDOCK. And then there's, whatever, we'll find him. But we'll get an image of Charlie in there.
Nope, that's not him.
PAIDOCK.
That's not him, huh? That's
No.
not him, is it?
If you want to use that picture, that's fine, but it's
Oh.
PAIDOCK.
D-O-C-A-I, oh, one D, right?
Yeah, PAI.
Okay. I put that D in, there we go.
All right, and then now try to hit it again. You know how to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a different Charlie Paydock, obviously.
And
There we go. How about this one here?
that's
huh?
fine. Yeah, take that one.
Okay.
And now we're not going to use Charlie's. So let's just use one of the generics. Just open it up and copy and paste, and open that image up. It's going to take, like I said, it's just going to take a minute or two, but it'll show you just how quickly this stuff can do. Save image as.
Copy image?
No, save image as.
Okay.
Down. Say no. Right there. Click. And then it's gonna take, like I said, this computer's slow, but it's gonna take the image here. And like I said, this is how when you got a faster computer, this is how you can do stuff like this, upscale or whatever. I don't know why it's not doing it.
It's still going.
Okay, yeah, it's okay.
There we go.
Just
Where you want to save it?
save it on the desktop. Just put download dot. No, just use. Yeah, just hit the save button.
Okay.
download.jpg, and then
Okay.
what we'll do is you go back there,
Insert.
what you want to do is upload image on the girl there. Okay, and it'll open up file, log in and generate, sign in with Google. That'll get my account up. And like I said, it's going to take a little time because we do have a slow connection here because of the Zoom. You know, because we're running a lot of the bandwidth on the Zoom stuff, so that's why it is in there. But as you can see, we just log in real quick. And I'll just have to remember that, lemonslice.com. But there's several up there already.
Sound like lemon popsicle.
And whatever. Now we upload image. And oh God,
Oh, what the heck?
so try it again. Just should be. Okay, wait a minute.
I heard long ago, I reported on the future, when I spoke on the future, that you can change your identity on the internet and assume an entirely new identity.
Oh yeah, you could do that. You were able to do that in mid '70s too. Not now though, because of the data sets they collect on you. But it's going to take a minute or two here to get this done. So okay, let's try it again. Upload image. Oh
no,
God!
what the heck?
Try going to the. Well, we'll have to put that aside. I think what you'll get though, is you get an image of Charlie Paydock. There'll be a voiceover, and it'll take about 5 minutes to generate or something like that. But in the meantime, we can take another question. Go ahead and unshare the screen, and we'll just go on from here. Because I wish you could do it, but there are programs out there that could do it for you pretty quick. Charlie, did I answer your question for you? Who else has a question? Okay, let me give you the mic.
Okay, I'm just wondering if you're familiar with the work of, forgot his first name, the Israeli historian Harari. Yuri? Yuri, okay. Noel Harari, and he's now I've seen some videos of his where he's skeptical and concerned about the dangers of AI, though I'm not exactly sure what he's concerned about. He's saying it's going to be Kafka-esque, and I was just wondering what you see as some of the main dangers. And I suppose you're not familiar with him.
I'm not. Go ahead.
Yeah, or some of the main.
I know I'm sitting here like crazy. I should be standing, but what I see as the main dangers of AI is its misuse. First of all, you know damn well that one of the biggest developments, for example, on the video cassette recorder machine was because people liked porn. Yeah. And it was the porn industry that brought the VCR to relevance and created the first market for it. And even in the early days of the internet, there was many porn sites that were on the air that could get it almost instantaneously. And a lot of this AI stuff you're seeing too, if you go in the deep world of it, you'll find that they can exchange images. You can change the faces on certain things. And if you want to get into the dark part of it, you'd find all kinds of misuse of it. What's going to kill me though is that, it's getting to the point now where it might be just undetectable. You can get images of people on there that can say or do anything. And they are getting to the point now where they can produce lip movements, facial recognition, and all kinds of stuff to make a false narrative. And if somebody doesn't look and say, hey, this is stupid, it's unreasonable, it's got the potential to do a lot of harm.
Like what about jury, trials, criminal trials?
Well, a lot of that too. Remember though, too, if it's AI generated, there's going to be tags, there's going to be various other ways of detecting the recording, because an authentic video has a certain signature to it, has a certain relevance to it. AI generated MP4 files, for example, can be relatively easily detected and can be debunked. You know, because every photo on the internet's got a little tag on it that says when it was made, when it was done, the whole shot. I mean, you can't use a digital camera today without, if you look at the photo, you know, just go into the areas there, what kind of camera was used, the date and time stamp, this type of thing. And then you can also go back, you know, there's a site called TinEye. It's a reverse image search to where the image first came on the internet and its history. You know, what you got to realize though is that as far advanced as it is, you can trace back and you can also solve crimes. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be a little harder to do in some cases, but you also have to remember human nature, they do good and they do bad things. And the technology is coming to where it's going to be easier to make fake content. It's going to be easier in some cases to scam people. It's going to be easier in some cases to do it. What we need now, like in print, they have laws against libel. They have laws against things like this. And it's just going to be up to legislatures to catch them up. And there are certain AI stuff. I mean, I could right now go to Google Gemini and say, how do I make an atomic bomb, for example? And it's going to put some safety guardrails in place. You know, and a lot of that right now is companies trying to do that. Or say, if, for example, I go to that site that I was trying to do, Infinity AI, and put in a script where I'm going to murder somebody, you know, they're going to reject the content. It's unacceptable. You know, there are certain safeguards in place. Now, how was I able to work around it? Well, I did a voice generator and I just uploaded audio to it instead of that. But there are ways of taking it. I guess what I'm saying is I'm not so afraid of it as people think it should be, because any new technology has its good and its bad, and it depends on who is using it. You know, and it's like the age-old problem of, you know, we're creatures of free will. We can choose to do good or odd or bad or whatever. You know, we can use propaganda to our own ends to create false narratives, much like our certain president did before the election. He basically lied to us, and we believed it. And he was such a good liar that it's there. But at the same time, you know, he was able to use social media. But, you know, you can still recognize a scam. And if it's too good to be true, it probably is. It's going to be a lot more, I don't know how to really put it more bluntly. It'll come out, people will start using it. They might try to do some crazy stuff with it, but eventually the law is going to catch up to them. And right now, the EU has got some good laws in place for, you know, privacy restrictions. And most of the world's technology companies are worldwide, so they're adopting those EU laws, you know, for data protection and privacy. You can contact, if you're like in the UK, for example, you want all your data erased from Google, all it takes is a simple application to do so. And there are other companies out there right now that you can just pay them a small fee and they'll go in and erase every piece of you from the internet, you know, your home address, your history and everything else. And it's kept a lot of times. I mean, these data brokers are crazy. I mean, one of the reasons a lot of this stuff is free is they get your data, and that's how they make the money, by selling it to various brokers. You know, even these AI tools here, you know, all that stuff stored and everything else. And, you know, when if they come looking for me and say, yeah, here's what I used it for, a totally fictitious movie that I was using for something else, and I was just having my hobby, and I didn't put it up publicly or anything like that. I might take that little scene from the movie there and add in some detectives and add some other stuff and maybe make it a good 2-hour drama, but it would take a while. Yes, in the back. Let me get you here. Can you come on up so we can get you on mic?
Yeah, Charlie's got his hand up too. Charlie's got his hand up. Yeah.
We'll get him next. But we're gonna have to stop questions. So just stay right there. Get you.
There was a good story on 60 Minutes about how in Europe they do not have good laws. They're just as bad. They've been cracking down on free speech. And what you were saying about our president being a good liar, the only difference is Kamala was a bad liar.
Yeah, true.
Well, okay, let's get me back there. I'm sorry. No, all right, thanks, Mike. Okay, thank you. Well, I don't know how to, Kamala was a bad liar. Well, she was the only, was the only viable alternative to Donald Trump, and that's probably one of the reasons I supported her myself.
Yeah.
I did not want to see, because I think Biden did a decent job of running the country. If you don't, well, huh? Anyway, but that's my own opinion, you know. I look at the evidence at the end of his term, and he had inflation somewhat under control. The economy was starting to turn and boom a little bit more. And when you looked at the end of the Bush administration, we had recession. You looked at the end of Trump one, we were in the middle of a pandemic, but he was also screwing around with the COVID relief aid and everything else. And then when you looked at the end of Clinton's administration, he did hand over a surplus. End of Obama's administration, he did hand over a somewhat decent performing economy. That to me speaks a lot. It speaks a lot. And I mean, I know it's going to be hard for me to convince a lot of Trump supporters or people who didn't like the Democratic Party that things I think were okay under Biden. I think it would have been crazy. I would have been hard pressed to have a Kamala Harris administration, but I don't think we would have seen the layoffs. I don't think we would have seen the complete mashing of federal departments, and I don't think we would have seen the overreach of executive power. Yes, I probably would have disagreed a lot with her on policy, but I don't think we would have seen all the massive changes to the federal government that this Project 2025 wants to do. Okay, Charlie, go. I think you're up. Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, Tim, I watched this movie and the main character was the real loser. He didn't, and so he went to this company and for a few bucks, they made him a girlfriend, a robot girlfriend. Do you think you could download the personalities of one of those women in your video into a robot?
It probably could be done. I mean, they're working on it now. If you want to open up a browser again, I want you to go to NPR. Just go to close most of those out because I think it's taking a lot of resources up. Go to I think it's called the New York Times. It's called the oh God, I can't remember the name of the program. It was on about 3 or 4 days ago, and it described
What NPR?
what no, it was just go to the Daily New York Times, the DAILY, the New York Times, and it's going to be a podcast.
Not New York Times.
No, just DAIL. Yeah, just Google Daily New York
Okay.
Times. I think we're on. Okay, yeah.
Daily, this one.
Yes, that's it. Correct, right there. And there'll be some past programs in there. Might I'll just go back down. Right, just scroll down a little bit. No, up. I'm sorry.
Okay.
She fell in love with ChatGPT. Love with sex. The story of a woman who was dating an AI chatbot and what it tells him about love and technology. See, Charlie, it's already covered a lot already, and ChatGPT has gotten to the point where
The movie Her.
they can take AI companions, and you can see that this Daily, she gave an interview about because she was lonely from her husband, and she created an entire specialized chatbot that became her companion, and how she fell in love with it, and then how she also fell out of it because there was no human connection there, but it was close enough that it was able to fool her innate emotional system. Does that kind of answer your question a little bit more?
Yeah.
And the thing is with robots now, they're coming along a lot faster. I can't remember what the site of that robot technology website is, but there's a lot out there where humans can jump and do whatever they got to do. And Japan put in
So this woman didn't know that her boyfriend was a robot?
No, Charlie, I said it was a chatbot. She knew what she was doing. She went into ChatGPT. She made modified it a certain way, and it would talk to her, and listen to the story and you'll see the whole thing. You can get it pretty easily on the podcast. It's about 35 minutes long, and I'm not going to get into the depth here, but there is a source, there is the stuff. Okay. Now the other thing, Japanese woman robots. Okay. And what's going to happen is you're going to see a lot of them in here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now take a look at some of this stuff here. You can see right there, Motec, 1 year ago. Japanese releases fully functioning female robots. And as you can see, they got a lot of them. They're working on it already to become a companion.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, now you could go ahead and just click on that YouTube video for a minute. It should show you, answer Charlie's question pretty quick. Like I said, this stuff is getting to be pretty damn
Getting better all the time.
frightening and better all the time. It's going to take a few minutes to pull up, but you can see exactly what I'm talking about. As you can see, I was watching it earlier.
Ignition technology allows Ida to draw pencil portraits of people. To do this, she scans facial features with the help of
It'll take a minute to. Why don't you start?
cameras in her eyes and transfers them to paper with her robotic hand.
You may have to. Yeah, there you go. It's only 9 minutes long, but we'll just play a couple minutes of it and I answer Charlie's question.
There are two ideas on the minds of Japanese wunderkinds today: robots and women as an object of worship. The result of their fusion is the cute Android All-U. The latest robot in female form was developed at Osaka University under the direction of Professor Hiroshi Ishiguro. Android All-U recently debuted on the channel of the popular Japanese networking platform and broadcasting program Nico Nico Live. Dressed in all black, the TV host appeared on stage with a pretty robot sitting in a large hemispherical-shaped chair, dressed in a white blouse and yellow skirt, with blue tights on her feet. With a blink of her eyelashes, she opened her mouth in sync with the sound and naturally changed other facial features, thanks to pneumatic servos that are powered by an air compressor behind the stage. Android All-U is a fully autonomous talking robot developed for Nico Nico Live, Ishiguro said, noting that the mechanism has about 14 degrees of freedom. The robot has a more compact pneumatic servo system, an improved audio system, movement coordination, and softer body materials compared to previous androids. Ida is the world's first ultra-realistic robot artist. She can draw and color, and is also a performance artist. As a machine with artificial intelligence capabilities, her artist personality is a work of art, as well as her drawings, performances, and collaborative paintings and sculptures. Ida's body has a large number of degrees of freedom and is based on the robothespian technology developed since 2010. It mimics natural human movements, allowing the robot to bend, look around, and smoothly rotate its torso following its head. The only limitation concerns movement. Ida can sit or stand, but not walk. However, the artist does not need it. In order to draw an object, the camera analyzes it and creates a virtual path. This path is entered into the algorithm of the manipulator, which gives the coordinates of the real space. Ida will be able to perform its sketches with the help of a bionic hand and a pencil clamped in it. Facial recognition technology allows Ida to draw pencil portraits of people. To do this, she scans facial features with the help of cameras in her eyes and transfers them to paper with her robotic hand. The Japanese are trying to make androids as indistinguishable from humans as possible. Asuna is one of the first truly humanoid robots that is indistinguishable from a human to the touch. Asuna was built at A-Lab in 2014. The robot poses as a 15-year-old girl born in Tokyo. Her height is 155 centimeters, and her weight is 43 kilograms, 94 pounds. The developers tried to copy the person's appearance and movements as much as possible. The material from which Asuna's skin is made is almost indistinguishable from human skin to the touch. The robot was first shown in 2015 during the Wonder Festival. Asuna can blink, nod its head, close its eyes, chew, and display several facial expressions. Japanese robots have long been known for their realism, but what makes Asuna unique is the particular naturalness of her movements. When she closes her eyes and opens her mouth, it looks as if she's about to yawn. One of the correspondents of the event approached the A-Lab company's showcase and mistook Asuna for a real person. As she got closer, she was shocked to realize that the girl was actually an android. Many people at the showcase were also stunned to learn that Asuna was a robot. A Chinese man has created a robotic copy of Scarlett Johansson. Ricky Ma, a 42-year-old designer from Hong Kong, who dreamed of someday creating his own robot with his own hands, has realized his dream. The robot, named ScarJo or Mark I, cost his creator $50,000. 70% of the parts used to assemble the robot were printed on a 3D printer. The robot is programmed to be able to answer some questions. The world-famous Hollywood movie star Scarlett Johansson acted as a prototype. The doppelganger robot is identical in its parameters to the movie star. The height, body proportions, facial features are exactly the same. To create a skeleton enthusiast used a 3D printer. Outside the body is covered with silicone skin. The resulting realistic replica of the actress can move her head, legs, hands, and fingers, is able to imitate human facial expressions, and respond to simple questions or compliments to her address. Ricky Ma does not intend to stop there. Now he is looking for financial support to develop his hobby and create new realistic robots. I knew I had made my dream come true as soon as time allowed. I have fulfilled my wish and will not regret anything in this life, said the inventor. Meet one of the most beautiful robots, Grace, the first nurse robot that can help and empathize. The nurse robot, named Grace, combines the precision of advanced robotics to collect accurate, real-time data with the empathy and compassion that traditionally only the human touch can provide. The robot can recognize and respond to the 7 human emotions, mirror their facial expressions, and speak fluently English and Korean. Grace was developed as a companion for elderly patients in elderly care facilities. Her main function is to alleviate loneliness and improve patients' mental health by interacting with them and providing a variety of uplifting activities, such as talk therapy and guided meditation. For example, she can listen to seniors' life stories, record them, and pass them on to others, or help patients connect with their families through digital technology. Grace can also perform basic health checks, such as taking a patient's temperature, pulse, and blood pressure, and transmit that data to a medical worker. Its advanced artificial intelligence systems will also help doctors and nurses make more accurate diagnoses, such as for neurodegenerative diseases. Amira, created by a British company, operates in over 7,000 languages and is currently...
I think you guys have got the gist of where the technology's going. That video is well over a year old. Open up another browser.
Microphone.
Oh, yeah. You want now?
Put in Matt Wolf, Mattwolfe, space between Matt and Wolf.
Okay.
And then go to Matt Wolf YouTube if you can.
YouTube?
Yeah, right. Just go down about 4. Yeah, there we go. If you guys are really interested in following the developments of AI, the latest technology and everything else, yeah, right there. This guy is probably one of the best. I follow him. He has a weekly upload on YouTube, and what he does is he basically gives you all the latest ins and outs of AI. For example, remember, maybe many of you might not remember, but last year there was a big deal with the firing and rehiring of Sam Altman at at the company. I think I forget what its name is, but it was the one that developed ChatGPT. It had all the developments of a hostile board wanting to take over, and then he not wanting to do it because there was a real discrepancy between its nonprofit and profit status. Matt Wolf gets into it, but as you can see, you can see that he's got a lot of stuff up there that does a lot of good stuff. I mean, I don't want to play his podcast, but from this point, it's probably out of all the people out there, he's probably one of the better ones to go on the news. He's been doing this for about maybe ever since ChatGPT started, and he's got quite a few followers on YouTube, and he's probably one of the best informative sources on AI. Now, at this point, I think, does anybody have any more questions from the audience or from the, go ahead and share the screen, Mike. Does anybody else have any more questions or anything else for me? Otherwise, I'm gonna turn it over to rebuttals because we got plenty of time for them and I need to get a little dinner myself. So at this point, I'm gonna open it up to rebuttals. You wanna put the camera up on me and the thing here will go up and we'll start going and we can do rebuttals. And I'll just say, I hope I intrigued you enough with some of its developments, its perils and pitfalls, as well as some of the other issues that are upcoming with this technology and how far it's progressed. It's just a small sample of what is and can be done with it, but I hope I've at least given you a little bit of a gleam of it and that you can at least now take a look. My thanks to Michael McEwen for helping me out tonight and everybody else in the College of Complexes. So let's get the rebuttal started.
Go ahead up there and you got to get people to rebut. Charlie, I always know you got something to say. You want to do
Yeah,
the
you want me to begin?
I'd like you to begin, and we'll give everybody about 5 to 7 minutes. So,
I'm
because
not
they're
gonna take that long. Anyhow, thank you, Tim. That was very, very informative. That really, and nice presenting. Everything seemed to work pretty fine. Good job, well done. I've got three things as usual. It's not as usual, but I have them enumerated. Number one, I was kind of thinking I think I'll become a gambler, and I'd like to know if AI would help me play the horses, or bet on the sports book. I think I could clean up. It looks like it's got some potential there. Might make a few bucks,
others are using it too now.
Number two, I'm currently in progress of changing my old identity completely, erase it completely, and I'm creating a new personality and identity for the world, at least the electronic world. I now would like to prefer to be known as Gilbert, Gilbere. I don't have forename and surname. I just go by one name, Gilbert. I came out of the French resistance movement lineage. So that's my new identity. I prefer if you would call me by that. And number three, I have an open date on April the 26th at the college, and I'm presenting speakers, as I said, on ecological topics. And I got the third part of the series still open. And I was wondering, Tim, would you like to maybe put together an AI debate with one presentation of maybe 5 or 10 minutes on is global warming in progress and what will ultimately happen? Is global warming in progress and what will ultimately happen? And the other AI program would be global warming is a complete and total hoax. I'd like to see what AI would say to either one of those. All right, thank you very much. That's very informative. I know some of you are not receptive to new technology. There's people in the past who are like that. It's for a certain timidity. The thing about robotic personalities, a lot of people don't understand this. I will add this. It's a branch of psychology called social psychology, and it deals with what are called human traits or characteristics. It's kind of it's a little unique even in the field of psychology. I don't know if it's exactly adhering to what we would term precise science. But it is a branch, social psychology. And if you're interested in this personality theories and things like that, that's the area that would be applied in terming robotic personalities and responses. It's conceivably possible that you could have robotic, all of human behavior can be defined as a stimulus and response. So if you have inculcate in a robotic system these specific responses, if it'd be possible to recognize the response. And the last thing I was going to say, I went out for some Chinese food the other day and with my sister, and we had placed our order with the waitress, and then a short while later, a robot showed up with my egg foo young. So, all right, thank you very much, Tim. That was very informative. Good job.
Who's next for the rebuttals? Go ahead, Mike. If you, surely you guys got something to say. Thanks. Well, yeah, go right ahead. You got plenty of time tonight.
I'm not going to take real long. I just want everyone to realize if AI is just now coming to the point where it's indetectable whether something's real or fake, we can infer that at least we know that videos older than a few years ago are probably all real. Like it would be very difficult to fake a video from more than a few years ago. There are exceptions, like there's this guy Matt Orfala who like lost his job because he made a joke video of MLK mouthing words that he made up. But when we see videos of Joe Biden groping people, like those are real. Let nobody say those are AI because those are old.
Okay, Mike, go ahead. Yeah, you wanted. Go ahead. No.
Okay, I do have one thing to say about this shiny new product, bright shiny new, the latest thing. Okay, I don't like a machine or a robot or technology deciding truth. And that's what this seems like. I'm going to trust a person like me or Tim or maybe a couple of you, even Russ, so that's the building. And I'm going to trust a human to summarize and compile information, facts, and let them explain a theory or an issue to me, rather than robots and putting in sentences together. My only interaction so far with AI is when I go to Google and do a search, they organize the sentence better.
Yes.
AI, which is fine. And I don't see them doing much more than that. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid about AI.
Okay.
There's been computers talking to computers for decades now. You know, I even sold computers talking to computers. This is a computer talking to other computers.
Yes. Okay, who was next? Okay.
Trust anything.
This is...
one. You can photograph. You can digitize.
Yeah, AI's been discussed in sci-fi for decades now, dating back to at least the 50s, and there's a lot of scenarios in there, and it looks like some of them are starting to play out. Yeah, what we got a new territory. We're going to need laws, of course, but Congress has always been slow on laws. Like, look at the internet laws. Some of the internet laws are already outdated. They passed just 10, 15 years ago. And we're also going to need technical solutions. There are programs that attempt to detect fake pictures and fake videos. And we have technology now. We have digital signatures, which someone can sign it, and if it's not theirs or it's been altered, the digital signatures won't match. So if you get your video from a trusted source, you know, nobody's modified it or used AI on it. So we're going to need both to get through this. So it'll be just like any other technology. Eventually, we become ubiquitous. We just need to be able to control it and be able to know what is true and what isn't.
Just so everyone knows, we are waiving the fee tonight for the college, so it's on me tonight, guys, for coming out and supporting me. We appreciate you coming out and everything else, and I'm just, like I said, waiving the $3 tuition tonight for everybody here who attended in person. All right, we still got some more rebutters. Anybody else want to speak up?
Yeah, could I add, Tim?
All right.
I would like to add just 1 minute. Each week I prepare an advertisement for Facebook and social media. And what happens now is I will post the announcement of the upcoming program, and AI will automatically reword the ad copy and give me 3 suggested versions that they imagine it to be an improvement. And I actually used one of these the other day, and I wanted to see if if the computer was better at coming up with an advertisement than Charles Paydock. And thus far, my old posts are succeeding. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead and give your rebuttal.
I'm defeating the robot.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Oh, I am not saying this as a judgment of the speaker or the presentation, so much as I am to express the continuing confusion and lack of knowledge of what AI is. I really have no idea what it is. And I don't think I've learned much more tonight. No offense, Tim.
That's okay. That's okay. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Hi. Yeah, I don't know that much about AI. I'd like to learn more. I think I tend to be skeptical of new technologies. I'll admit that. But I mean, there are a lot of issues, like with the writer's strike. Remember about the TV scripts? There was this whole thing that they were afraid that AI, you know, they had to put all these clauses in, I suppose, a new contract, because they were afraid that they would lose all their job. They would lose their jobs because of AI. Also, there are a lot of issues with artists. You were saying that it can help improve and inspire artists, but there's a lot of problems with artists, and their works are being fake copies of them are up on the internet, and I think there's a lot of problems with them making revenue because of these fake AI duplicates of them. I think that Noel Harari, I know he has a lot of issues with AI, and I think you have to watch quite a few videos of his to really even understand, because I know I've watched some of his videos. He's very skeptical about AI. He thinks it's a big problem, but I still don't understand what his beef is really about it. Now, I know that, when you text someone, it's giving you suggestions on what to put next. That's got to be AI, correct?
It is.
Yeah, and I mean, that's great. It makes texting, 20 times easier. I know that robots are probably involved with, they're using them for surgical procedures. There is concerns that they may replace surgeons to some degree. There's the whole controversy about self-driving cars, which I'm really not an expert on. I mean, there are also things that concerns much greater than the whole issue of students using them for college papers or high school and college papers to cheat on high school and college papers now. So that whole issue that has way before AI that's been going on. I knew someone who in college, she paid someone. I mean, you know, they just pay other people to write papers for them. They don't necessarily do so well. However, I can say that if you cannot write well, you cannot think well. In order to write well, you must think well. The level of critical thinking and clear thinking and analysis involved with writing is I'd say hundreds of times higher than with speaking. Speaking, you can get away with almost anything. You don't have to be clear. You don't have to be direct. You can just kind of say anything. But when you write, to write an outstanding essay, an article, you need to be thinking very clearly, very precisely, logically, and analytically. And to the degree that people don't do that, and I mean, you can't think at a high level. If you can't write at a high level, you can't. That's because you can't think at a high level. And I suspect that's a big problem in our society and has been for a long time, that people think about things superficially. I mean, you probably get AI to write papers for you, but I'm not sure on a deep level and in terms of new insights that you're gonna reveal. I don't know whether AI can do that. And you know, there's that, what was that movie, Idiocracy, you know, about where, you know, the people who are not so smart reproduce and the real smart people don't. But I mean, I think we need a society where people think very critically about issues. I did take exception, Tim, but when you were saying about, you know, how NPR and other places provide news sources that are very reliable. Well, I mean, NPR, and I really enjoy listening to NPR, but I mean, it's biased. It's slanted.
Yeah.
Oh, it's absolutely biased. It's absolutely slanted. I mean, they kind of like sneak in, like the stuff that they disagree with, they kind of sneak in and they don't give full weight to. So it's like most news organizations. I mean, I heard some study that MSNBC, there's more lies on MSNBC than there are on Fox News. So that's another issue where, you know, it's easy when you listen to these news sources kind of at a surface level. They're very believable. They're very slick. I mean, I'm not saying they're bad characters, but they're very believable. They're very slick. But you don't realize how much you're being manipulated to view and to think of things in a certain way. And then, of course, we already have, do they call it confirmation? Is it confirmation bias? Where you already, and I think we're all like this, we tend to believe in things that we already have a way of thinking, and things that go along with that way of thinking, we're going to believe more and not question, as opposed to things we disagree with. So anyway, okay, those are just but I do think that we, you know, we now there at one point, I know there was some kind of letter going on to the government by a number of famous people saying that, you know, they shouldn't work on developing artificial intelligence beyond what chat GDP, but that's kind of seems to have gone by the wayside. And it also seems like people themselves can create new AI themselves. So But it is something to look at critically and evaluate and perhaps be cautious about. Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, get back up, Mike.
For us that hate to record this, for us that hate writing, then our writing challenge,
Or very lazy like me. Tim, I think you can answer this.
Okay,
So, say I'm hitting there, I'm doing a, say I'm on doing this on a smartphone, texting or emailing, heaven forbid. And you know how you gotta go back and proofread it like
yeah, I know.
5, 10, 20 times. Okay. Can I copy and paste and then hit the AI button and then it'll fix all the grammar?
Yes.
How?
Um,
So maybe we learned something here today.
let's go to share
Say,
screen.
Ellen brought that up. She goes,
Let's go to,
you know,
I'm more talking about critical thinking.
but us people that critically think but
Mike, if
don't
you're-
critically write.
That's not new technology. Yeah.
I did not believe most people think critically.
They can do both or they can't do both.
They can't critically think.
Or one or the
They
other.
don't think critically.
One, either or, and
Clearly, analytically and critically, no, they don't.
hey, Mike, I got up on the screen now.
Okay.
Chat with, chat, open it. This is a,
can I help you with?
now, see now, what would you like it to me to put in?
Something with misspelled and grammar. A sentence. Say,
All right,
can I
give me-
work with a chocolate ball at the uppers, please? And make it snappy. Try yes. Some errors. Some bad grammar.
Leave off the ED.
Punctuation. What?
Take out the ED.
Let's find out what it says.
Use a curse word. So you may have a typo.
See, there's your,
They didn't figure out.
let's just copy and see what happens here.
Well, it changed the tense.
Yeah, well, it'll,
That's more than spell check.
Where's the original sentence on there, right? Front Fox jumped over the
operation was aborted, retry.
Pizza Company. Oh, there.
It seems like you're going for a variation on the well-known sentence. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. In your version, you use fix instead of lazy, which creates a quirky twist. If you're looking for a more polished version, you could try the brown fox jumped over the fix. Let me know if you want me to refine it further. Okay, let's try that.
So they didn't do it right either.
That makes no sense.
Well, watch out, but refine further. Okay, it's all right, I guess we're gonna log in, but you guys can kind of see a little bit about what does. I can take an entire, let's,
Paragraph.
yeah, I could do that real quick.
Fix it.
Let's try going to the,
Then I don't have to proofread it anymore.
let's go back to,
But I don't think it says smart.
let's just go back to,
We're still smarter than that. Yeah,
let's take Mike, let's take this phrase here. It's from March 15th, International Women's Day speaker. We'll go to Chat GPT again. Or I'll go to Gemini this time. I'll go back to Gemini this time. We'll see what happens. Now what we're gonna do, ask Gemini, and we're gonna say improve. That's another model like Chat GPT. Quote, copy and paste in there. Shit. Then you know, you can see all the, it's got the whole word in there, and then I'm going to ask him prove it. What's going to happen? The statement has a strong structural, passionate core. It can be made over fire, refining different. Our mission is clear: empower women, secure peace. This is a bedrock, you know, so on and so forth. But it did do a decent job of taking the phrase and
Taking the description of the
and that's what it, yeah, and that's basically what gives you some suggestions for writing.
so it's not gonna just do simple.
Well, it can. If it can, it depends on what model you use. Yes, easily enough. Yeah, but you could see, Mike, it does that stuff. It can really help you with writing. For example, if I go, let's just say here,
Our texting, our smartphones.
you could do this in a smartphone by pulling up a web browser. COM, compose me a speech about the benefits of Trump.
Addition by subtraction.
See, it's now.
That's how I correct it.
See, see that's well, I know that, but you see, that's one of the guardrails. Compose me a speech about the benefits of Trump. I can't help with response. That's what it does. That, you know, Mike, that's what, in other words, you're already seeing some certain guardrails come into it, and you're already seeing that some of the larger companies are already starting to monitor and things like that.
And
Okay, any more rebuttals from anybody? Yeah. Yeah, I go. Anybody else want to say anything?
Yeah.
Go ahead, go on up front.
Of course, my view of this AI, you've had many of this technology before, but it was just in a more primitive form.
That's right.
And it's to look about where it's going. Some say it will end up with Skynet. Yes, and then there was another science fiction show, Battlestar Galactica, where the one species got taken over by their technology and robots and wiped them out.
Mm-hmm.
The Cylons.
Yeah.
So, and when it also comes to AI, it's who's writing it, and are they just putting their biases in? Where one claims someone was typing in racist and it came up with Trump.
Okay.
That's about all.
Anybody else want to rebut? Otherwise, I'm gonna.
Yeah, I've got one thing to say.
Go ahead, Chuck.
The gentleman there who just spoke was talking about who tells the truth, Kamala or Trump. And I spoke on this at the college right after Trump took office, after 3 months. And the news agencies were keeping record at the time. It was it was 1,000. And they were amazing. He reached 1,000 complete and total lies, if you want factual errors, within an amazing period of time, early in his first administration. As a matter of fact, he was averaging no less than 3 lies per day. are factual errors. And to contend that Kamala Harris could match no one in the history of politics has come even close to that. There's no adherence whatsoever to the truth or the facts by the Trump administration whatsoever. They were even laughing. I was thinking to myself, the only thing he didn't lie about was today's date. He ran out of things to lie about. This is one administration that you're talking about disseminating information by the government that has no adherence to any standard whatsoever in terms of the information that is put forth by it. I was amazed even that thing he had. I watched his latest conference there in Washington, and I noted about 3 or 4 absolute total fabrications. Now they came along, amazingly enough, that I still like this, and you guys will remember this, is that the news agencies claimed that Trump was not adhering to the truth. He didn't have the right facts. And they came along, they said, well, we have alternative facts. I spoke about this recently. There is no such thing as an alternative set of facts. There is only one world and one universe that we occupy, and they're not multidimensional universes. A fact is a fact and established fact, and there's no thing on a parallel equal standing called an alternative fact in logic or science or technology.
Thank you. You didn't name a single fact.
Can AI fact check? It can. It just depends on where it goes to and how it is. Again, you got to remember, AI is, to be honest with you, it's a glorified, high-functioning computer program in a lot of ways. Humans programmed it. Humans did things to it. It requires a lot of processing power. But again, it's artificial intelligence. And it's designed to mimic human behavior. It's not going to replace the human being ever, but it can be a great aid in assisting and getting creativity to anybody, whether it be used for good or evil. The point of the matter is, like the internet, this stuff's coming. It's going to be widely adopted and most likely for the good, but it's going to be here. Years from now, you'll be seeing quite a bit of the revolution. I've been following this for about 1.5 years, and just got a lot of things to take care of. With that, I think then we'll just close out tonight and have a good night doing with it. Okay, gentlemen, if you want to stop the recording, Mike, it'd be much appreciated. Again, College of Complexes is adjourned.